Hey friends, what's up? I hope you're doing super amazingly on this incredible January something day, and I hope you're ready for a new year. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about how to start as a music producer in 2026. So if you are a new producer or you are an aspiring music producer, this video is for you. Now, before I get too far into this video, I'm gonna assume that you've already watched my other video, which was how to start a music production business. If you haven't, I highly recommend checking that one out and then coming back here and watching the rest of this video, because the two are gonna complement one another. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. The very first thing that I recommend that you do is start learning how to sell your services and start learning about how a business actually operates. The reality is that if you want to generate any amount of revenue in music production, then you need to learn how to sell. And that is true for any business. If you are a music producer, then you are running a business. Full stop, period. Make sure now, rather than later, you start learning what that means and what that looks like for your business. And also, just a quick aside, our goal is not to scam people into hiring us as producers, even though we don't have the skills and the chops to actually properly service what they're looking for. So if you don't have a product or service of music production that you feel confident enough that you're willing to sell to other people, then I would say maybe first evaluate where you are with your skills. And then once you feel fairly confident enough, not like the most incredible producer in the world, like you don't have to be Grammy nominated or anything crazy like that, but you feel confident enough in your skills and you feel competent enough to bring other people's musical visions to life, then I would really encourage you to start reaching out to people to start actually doing all these business related things. And also, the real truth is that if you really are able to serve people and meet their needs well, then you're not gonna have to be a shady salesman or anything like that. People are gonna see what you can offer, and it's gonna happen much more organically than you think. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean you can throw selling skills out the window, because knowing how to persuade and knowing how to have really good interpersonal skills and soft skills and all those kinds of things, that is 100% going to help you as a music producer. Like, I 100% guarantee that that will be the case. So don't neglect those things, but also make sure that your product and your service is just exceptional. That way people don't have to be convinced to work with you, if that makes any sense. Learn about things like your profit and loss statement. Learn about things like your balance sheet. Learn about cash flow. Learn about accounts receivable, accounts payable, and so many more things. And if none of those make any sense to you, then I encourage you to start picking up some business books, watching some YouTube videos about business, and starting to understand how your business functions. Because if you don't, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot before you ever even get started as a music producer. The second thing that I would encourage you to do is to start building your network. Now, I know you heard what I said, and I know you're probably gonna ignore what I said, but this can't be overstated. Start building your network right now and be very intentional. I'm a very intentional person. Anyone that knows me and knows, my producer career and me going to Nashville all the time and building relationships can attest to the fact that I try to be intentional at least. It's very important, and it's a thing that so many people neglect to do. So if you're one of those people, I'm talking directly to you. Be intentional right now about building relationships and building genuine friendships and networking, getting out there, buying people's coffees, reaching out to people through DM. Do the thing, okay? You're not gonna regret it. If you're serious about being a music producer or being in the music industry, you have to make friendships, you have to. And by the way, I am not talking about networking to take advantage of people. Please don't do that. You will destroy your reputation and you'll get nowhere with making friends in the industry. I'm talking about building real, authentic, genuine, deep conversations, reaching out to people, not just when you want something from them, but actually getting to know them, getting to know their families, getting to know the things they love. Do that. Be a good human being and get to know people genuinely. And don't even do it with selfish motives. Sure, it will serve you, but don't do it so that you will be served. Does that make sense? Offer value to other people and serve them the best you can in your friendships that you develop with them, and that's gonna go a long way. Also, in this industry, and really in every other industry, they're not that big, and realistically, people know people. So if you suck and you're kind of a jerk to work with, then guess what? That's gonna get around and people aren't gonna want to keep working with you. Your reputation will be destroyed. But if you are very kind, you're a great hang, you're very talented, you go out of your way to serve other people and all those things, that's gonna get around really quickly about you too. And that's good, that's what we want. So make sure you're that guy, not the guy that people are regretting being around, or girl. Sorry. If possible, find people who are a little bit further than you, who can kind of mentor you and show you the ropes. But what you really need to prioritize doing is finding other people who are right alongside your level. Because truth be told, if you're a music producer and you're intentional now about meeting other session players, other mixers, other producers, other songwriters, so on and so forth, and they're at your level, you guys are gonna grow together. If you guys both stay in this industry for 10 years, guess what? You guys are both gonna be growing for 10 years. And both your networks are gonna be growing for 10 years. And if you stay intentional with that friendship and that relationship, you're probably gonna be sending them work and they'll probably be sending you work. In this music industry, it's all about collaboration. It's not me versus them. It's 100% us collaborating with one another. There's plenty of work to go around. There's no need to be greedy. There's no need to be selfish. Really figure out how you can just love other people, serve them well, and be a great producer, and you're gonna be set. Number 3, do not wait until work comes your way to start being productive. This is a mistake that so many people make. Right now, if you have no clients lined up, that's space for you to start making content and start showing off what you can do. A friend of mine, Austin Cannon, who is another producer, he says that social media is like your billboard, and that's the best way that I've heard it explained. I've said it on this channel before. I'm gonna say it on this channel again. Your social media is your billboard. You are literally showing to the world the things that you can do as a music producer. You are sharing with them your unique insight, your worldview, your ability to bring a fresh creative lens to music in a new way. And people are gonna hire you for that. And if they're looking for a producer and they come across your page and you have no content about you making music, guess what? They're probably gonna go somewhere else and find someone who does show off their ability to produce amazing music. So if you wanna be a producer, don't wait until someone comes knocking on your door asking for a producer. Start right now and make content. And content can be annoying, but make content that you actually genuinely enjoy. Content that's fun to make, content that you look forward to making, and also content that's gonna grow you personally in your skill set, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. If you want people to hire you for what you do, then it's your responsibility to show them what you can do so that they will then hire you. Point number 3, treat yourself like a business because you are a business. This means have real practical guardrails and guidelines for your business. So for example, make yourself a schedule. These are my office hours. I'm gonna be working from 9 to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, or like whatever that looks like for you. Actually have a real routine as if you're working for another company. And if you are already working for another company, still give yourself disciplined guidelines of after my 9 to 5, I'm gonna work on music from 5 to 7:30 or 5 to 8, and I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Be very structured and be regimented, because if you're trying to do this as a business, you can't just fly by the seat of your pants. You have to have some sort of intentionality. And if you don't take yourself seriously, if you don't take your business seriously, then other people are not gonna take you seriously either. Make yourself a to-do list that you update regularly. Make yourself KPIs for your business, which are key performance indicators. These are the things that show you whether or not you're aiming properly towards the right goal and if you're actually on track to reaching those goals. So for example, say your goal is to generate 40 new leads for music production or mixing or whatever per month by posting on social media. And generally speaking, you get 10 new leads for every 5 posts that you make on Instagram. That would mean that you need to post at least a minimum of 20 times per month in order to meet your goal of reaching 40 new leads every single month. Does that make sense? That's an idea of what a key performance indicator is. You can kind of figure out what these things should be by just doing the thing and then analyzing your analytics. So for example, post 40 times, 50 times a month, and then see actually what the data is from doing that, and then make a plan from there going forward. Set your KPIs, and then move towards your goals. And then reevaluate your KPIs and reevaluate your goals, so on and so forth. One book that I highly recommend that I read my first year as a music producer, like a full-time pursuing music producer, is Year One by Jamie Brindle. He's a videographer and it's an adjacent field, but every concept that he talks about directly translates over to music production and honestly, every single creative entrepreneurial field, especially as a solopreneur. And my 5th and final point for this video is practice your craft. Practice your craft, practice your craft. Even when you are filled up with clients and you have, very little time in your schedule, still carve out space to practice your craft. Because let's be so honest right now. How many of you guys have gear in your studio right now that you don't even really know how to use everything on it? Me, I'm like that. I'm sure everyone watching this video is like that too. So if you have any gear in your studio that you don't know how to use every function on it, spend time figuring that out. Because realistically, you might just learn something that you can then use in a later session. And also, to the idea of practicing your craft, you want to make sure you get the reps under your belt right now and you keep on exercising those skills so that once someone actually pays you for music, you can work very quickly and very efficiently, very effectively, and you can very clearly and quickly execute the vision that they have in their mind. That will be one of those skills that people hire you for. Your ability to take what they just said 10 seconds ago and then make that show up in their song. Like, I can't overstate how important that is. And for example, if it's this synth part or it's this particular guitar tone that they have in their mind that they show you in a reference or whatever, one of your jobs is to quickly recognize, oh my gosh, I know exactly how to achieve that guitar tone that they're looking for. Oh, I know exactly how to get that type of sound on this synth that I have, because you've already spent the time doing it when you didn't have clients, or when you had clients but you still made space to practice your craft. The reality is that when you're in a session, the last thing you want to be doing is wasting that person's time figuring out how to do something with your gear. Like, that's the last thing you want to do. Now, to be honest, I think everyone has a story, every mixing engineer or recording engineer, particularly when they're thrown behind a console or whatever, and there's a client and there's this mounting pressure and they have to figure out how to like record and use the board in some way or whatever. Those stories will still happen. Like, that's, I think, an inevitable part of the music production and mixing engineer, recording engineer journey. I think that's true. But we want to minimize that as much as we possibly can by being proactive beforehand. And like, another example is to experiment with miking techniques. That's one thing that I don't do enough. That's one thing that a lot of people don't do nearly enough. But the more ideas that you can contribute to this project that you're working on, or these projects, the more that you can contribute artistically to them, like, the better the results you're gonna get, and the more that the artists you're working with are gonna appreciate what you do. So those are a couple of practical examples of what you can do this year to get closer to your goal of becoming a full-time music producer. And I do truly hope that these help you. And if you're interested in supporting my channel, you can check out my Patreon, because I like posting song breakdowns and things like that there. I post unreleased music that I have as an artist, the process of making those things, and all that kind of good stuff. So check out my Patreon. You can support me for free there. If you just want some lower tier stuff, you can contribute a couple dollars to get some higher tier stuff, and so on. Check it out. You can check me out on social media. I'm IO Sound Studio on Instagram, and I practice what I preach there. So anyways, love you guys. Hope you guys have an amazing 2026 year, and I hope you guys kick off the year in a really strong way, moving towards your goals and not farther from them. So anyways, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you soon with another video. Peace out.